Welcome to Map Desert. Now there are two variants to this map, there's day and night, but we're going to go over the spots that are probably best suited for this map during the daytime. It's a little bit easier to see, so visually it'll look a little bit better for you. First, where we're going to start is at the very top of these steps, so let's go. Alright, much like what we talked about in House, and the House map, the focal point, control point is kind of the house itself. You can find very similar patterns of gameplay here on Desert. A lot of it is focused around this particular building. This building is at the very top of the main town stairs, and you'll see exactly why this building is so important. Let's head on up. Alright, so as you can see, we've gone from there and teleported up here. Why is this spot so important? Well, a lot of people call this the shit house because, well, we got an outhouse here, right? You can tell it's an outhouse. You hear the bugs buzzing. Why is this spot so important? Well, primarily because of its wide range of view. You can see all the way to the other side of the wall, opposite the pillars there. You can see all the way over here, which there's a spawn that typically happens over there. And if you step over here, you can see all the way down to a spawn right over there. For control point and also search and destroy, or sorry, hard point and search and destroy, you'll find this is a very good spot for intel gathering and also for getting people either with a sniper rifle or with some sort of assault class. On top of this building is probably the best, so it's most fought after. Be prepared to defend it. Furthermore, if you know a grenade's coming in, just pop on inside here. You're very likely to survive, but just be wary of someone coming up the stairs. Let's go on to the next spot. The next spot is very simple. It's actually right next to, well, the shit house. Now, the reason why this spot is important is because a lot of other spots like this one have this dome, right? This dome on top. You can see one here, you can see one there, you can see one over there, one all the way up there. If you can find one of these buildings with a dome, they are great perspectives of the map, and they provide you a little bit of cover so that you can maneuver all the way around, something that this building does not provide. So if you could get a dome roof, you're in a pretty good spot. Let's go on to the next spot. Alright, so the next spot is actually a tree. So we're not too unfamiliar with trees in this game. Obviously, we saw a lot of it on House. You can actually get up to the top of this tree. Given enough practice, just stay close. And you're pretty much well hidden. Now, like I said, I'm not very good at climbing trees, so you won't see me monkeying around in these. But be sure to keep your eyes up because there are people who get up in a variety of various different trees throughout the map. So again, be wary. There's actually much easier to see through these palm leaves than the leaves on the house, the map house. So people are very good shots from these positions. So just keep your eyes up and be aware. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so you'll see there's a lot of really good places to cover here in this particular focal area. We were just up the shit house. We were also up in the tree. On a variety of different game modes, particularly hardpoint and S&D. Yes, you could do an FFA and TDM, but you'll find people running around more often. But in one of the more team-based, objective-based games, you are going to have to be wary of people sitting in this little place right here, particularly if the hardpoint and bomb site are in this location. People will hide out here. You got to check the corner. So be wary of this spot. Also, you'll find campers hanging out in this alleyway as well. Now, sticking within the town area, we are up in another building. This is directly diagonal from the shit house. Now, this spot isn't nearly as strong. It is a little bit lower to the ground. So when you're trying to pick people off, you're much closer to them, that you're more easily seen. You do have this wall, but you can shoot through these, so if anyone sees you from atop one of the other roofs, the adjacent roofs, they might be able to get a couple of pot shots, so be sure to go prone every once in a while. But this is a very good spot, provides a lot of cover to one side, so you can focus mostly on this spawn area or anyone pushing from the fountain location. Obviously, you'll find a lot of really cool little places here in the town on Desert. Use these opportunities, these roofs, as a place to catch people off guard, and you have a vertical advantage, so use it. just be careful and be ready to move. This is a parkour runner's dream, so enjoy the mobility. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so we're kind of moving out of the town area, all right, and we are moving a little bit further up into the sands. Now, again, there are a lot of opportunities down in the town area, so go ahead and check them out yourselves. I'm just showing you some of the more popular ones and to keep an eye out in those locations. They're also very sneaky. Another really good spot that you'll find a lot of people sit, myself included, is right here at the posts. You are down nice and low. You're actually protected here by the sand mound, so you can pop up, get a couple of pot shots off at anyone coming through the hole in the wall, and then drop right back down. Now granted, be wary as they come down. They will have an angle on your head, but knowing if your team is behind you, for example, you can pop up, fire, get a couple of shots off, and you can also watch this angle. Now you are exposed, so I wouldn't suggest staying here long, but you can run along this entire wood pillar wall and be able to shoot through the cracks. Okay, so use this cover to your benefit, and also these smaller pillars, you can hop up on them as well. And if you want to, if you're very agile, you can walk all the way up here to the other side of the wall. So use this to your advantage and have some fun. Now, another great spot actually is a little bit unorthodox, if you will. It's not one location that you would typically think people would be, but I guarantee you some of you are going to get picked off and you're going to be so aggravated not knowing where they are. We are still at the pillar wall, and on one side of the pillar wall is this lovely little bush here. Well, hello, little bush. Oh, don't you just smell nice? Part of what makes this plant right here so great is that it gives you such a great angle, particularly on some locations that we just talked about, like the shit house and the dome. Also gives you some view and perspective on the pillar wall, and it also gives you a perspective of anyone who might be coming through the center of the wall or all the way towards the rocks. Now, we talked about on house why the foliage is so important, because it provides you so much cover and it's really, really hard to see you, yet you get such a great perspective on everybody else. So if you could just hop right on in here, you could even go prone, depends. Just be wary that your legs aren't sticking out, and you can actually have much greater perspective than I would say even the bushes on house. You can see so much more with very little movement. And that's one thing I would recommend, is try not to move while you're in this particular location. Try to stay still, use your body to twist around, don't use the thumbstick. But another really good spot is the bush. Of course, if you're spotted, be sure not to come back here right away. Go find another location and then try to come right back here. It's a really good spot, especially if you're trying to be sneaky, but don't overuse it and just be careful. Let's go on to the next spot. Now, here's another spot that isn't actually very popular in standard TDM or FFA. This is actually a very good spot for game modes like Hardpoint and S&D. The flatbed. The flatbed is actually a great spot for anyone who wants to be a little sneaky. Sometimes there is a spawn point here for Hardpoint or Search and Destroy. It could be a bomb site. So you might want to hang out here or even underneath. Yes, you can get underneath this flatbed. But obviously standing here is a little idiotic. I'm not going to actually stand here. In fact, I might not even crouch because I'm still very visible. I will go prone here. And what makes this so great is it makes me invisible to anyone coming up from town, but it gives me a great perspective of that bush over that we just talked about, the center of the wall, and anyone coming from between the rocks. So this is a very good spot to hold, especially if the hard point is close by or even right here on the flatbed. Might want to give it a shot. Not a super popular location, but figure give you a little bit of a heads up of its utility in those particular game modes. All right, on to the next one. All right, so we're obviously making our way around the map. We've gotten very far away from the town, and we just came from the flatbed over there. The next spot I want to talk about is this corner wall. Now, you can very easily get sniped off of this corner wall, so you are going to have to be careful. You're going to have to, essentially slice the pie, as the term goes, and you want to slowly move out. Here you get a pretty good perspective of up at Shithouse, okay, all the way up there. And that is primarily, that one or the building you see right here in front of me are the two locations you're probably going to get sniped from the most. But if you can get a peek and get a bead and shoot them first, you're actually in a really good spot to maintain control of that very dangerous location and also maintain cover. This goes for any game mode from FFA to TDM, hardpoint, and search and destroy. You can also just easily back up, or you could retreat back around the wall into the dilapidated area of the map. Or what's even better, which I like to do, instead of backing up, sprint up, slide, and get into this position. Because look, I come back just a little bit, and here I am, and I have perfect perspective on that house again, and I have way more cover. Also, if I'm drawing the attention from the people over there, I can continue to provide cover to any of my teammates by looking at the middle part of the wall, the pillars. Hell, I can even look down towards these pillars without exposing myself and maintain a lot of cover while just being an annoyance to those people way up over there. So this particular location, although potentially dangerous if played right, it's actually a very advantageous spot, so don't sleep on this one. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, now we are behind the wall and we are off at the corner that we just were at. Now, why am I up here? Not a lot of fights actually occur up here, but if you are an avid sniper and you really want to utilize that Chaco to its fullest extent, you want to head up here. Yes, you can go pretty far back onto the rocks, and what's nice about this particular location is you have pretty much the lay of the land. If you go prone and you're wearing the right skin, the right model, character model, you have a great perspective, and this goes for anywhere along these rocks as far as the barrier will go. And we'll do a little run, just kind of give you an idea of how much space you actually have. You can see I'm up here pretty far, right? So you can use this and make sure you use the right character model to blend in. You can go prone and snipe from this location. From that distance, it's incredibly hard for anyone from those locations to actually see you. So don't be worried about being overly exposed. It's very hard to see someone who's all the way back here in this prone position using a sniper rifle. So if you want to test your sniper skills, pick an area on the rocks and yeah, give it a shot. I'll be on the lookout for you, so make sure you hit your marks. Let's move on to the next spot. All right, so the next spot is actually just diagonal from where we were, and we've clearly moved down the wall quite a bit. And I'm at the ladder here. The central ladder, as I like to call it, and as you'll hear me call out if you ever play with me, this is a very dangerous spot. If you remember the little technique I told you about on the map house, where you're on the roof and you're sliding up and down that ladder on that tank, you could do the same thing here. Slide up, find a target, fire, go back down, up, down, and it's actually very hard to see this person at times. And yeah, it's very dangerous if someone's here, especially because they can easily do this and be safe. Okay, we've only got a few more locations left, so why don't we go check them out? We just finished with central ladder. Let's keep on going down. All right, to give you an idea in perspective of where we are, there's a central ladder right there, and we have come all the way across the wall towards this rock area. Now, this rock area alone doesn't really suit anyone very well, considering you only have this perspective. And I'll be honest, a lot of fights take place down in the town area, so this doesn't work in your favor very well unless you are playing hardpoint and search and destroy, in which case there are spawn points that are over here, and this is a very good spot. Again, talking about the rocks, using the appropriate model, the character model, you can have really good coverage and you'll be very hard to see from long distances. But I'm not talking about this spot in particular. I'm talking about this spot over here. Yes, you can come back pretty far into this rock face here, and you actually have really good cover. So if you go prone, if you're a sniper or even an assault, look at how close I am to the rocks here, right? All I have to do, if someone's firing at me from over there, I just have to move this way a little bit. And if someone's firing at me over here, all I have to do, again, move this way a little bit, get out of cover. But ultimately, there's a very good location. It's very hard to see someone who's over here, and someone who is an avid sniper. Yes, Mental Man, I am talking to you. This is probably a very prime location because you could see all the way down to the dome. You could actually see all the way to the shit house, even through the trees. And you could see around towards the wall, and you also have this perspective. So up here on this rock face is absolutely incredible if you have very good aim and if you're a good sniper. If you're an assault class, obviously if you're in an SMG class, close quarter combat, you're not going to be coming over here, but it is good to know in case you ever get tagged in a direction and you're like, where the hell did that come from? Be sure to check here. Just be careful, because if they know they're coming or you're coming for them, they're going to get out of here nice and quick. All right, let's move on to the last location. All right, we are at the last location, and now I know when I was over at the other dome right over there, I was saying, hey, any of these roofs with a dome is actually good for cover, and it's, you know, good positioning. And while that still remains true, this is a particular hot spot that a lot of people will try to fight over, and it's right above the fountain here. Now, why are we talking about this one? It's because it can be very easily seen. We have so much lay of the land from all the way down to this spawn point where you can easily throw a grenade. You can see movement and provide intel. You can see the main stairs in the town. You can see shit house. You can see pretty much everywhere in town for the most part. Even over there where I said your flank was covered because you got that wall, but they could still shoot through it. You could still see that spot, which is really good. You can actually see all the way up here towards the bush in the top of the pillar wall. You can see over here, and you can also catch people trying to snipe over here. And you can very easily just duck, get up, duck, and get up, and fire away. You can also see people as they transition from all the way down where the trucks and utility vehicles are, all the way over there. As they make their way into town, a lot of them like to come towards the fountain area and try to sneak down this way. You could actually catch them off right here as well. So again, this is a highly fought over location from my experience. You might experience something different, but then again, you might not be playing in this area. So just keep this spot in mind. It's well worth getting if you can get it. Sometimes a lot of activity happens over there, so depending on the players that you're going up against, this might not be to your advantage, but even still, keep an eye out for this one, and yeah, be on the lookout. Try to take it over. All right, guys, and that's going to be it for this map overview. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you like what you see, be sure to give this a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next map overview. Okay, till then, bye.